Alright, the Ace of Spades here bringing another Wargame Red Dragon gameplay video, and this will be the first of my videos to start being pumped out frequently because I am entering the summertime and I will be having a lot of free time. So because of this change, I decided to show you a little change in gameplay with a Conquest 1v1, and that's why I have this North Korean Conquest deck open, so I can kind of show you the changes that I made from my normal North Korean deck that I have recently been using that you probably haven't seen because I haven't uploaded any videos, but just some minor changes from it anyway. I added an extra card of ATS, which are some cheap tank type units with 103mm guns on them. They're good for sending out and kind of holding lines and supporting the rest of your army, and they do work with 13 AP power and 45 accuracy, and all for 25 points. And that's something you really want in a Conquest, is something cheap and something to be out there to get that map control, because Conquest is about sectors rather than kill points. So you accumulate points by commanding more sectors than your enemy. So the more units you can have out on the field, usually the better. That's not always the case, but for these they do the job well. And then I made some small change, like my 2 infantry that come in ground troop or ground forces are usually in BTR 50s, which have they're really slow and have, I think, a 50 millimeter gun on them, or 12.7mm, excuse me. These have 14.5mm guns, so they're a little bit more meaty, and they can kill some soft targets like anti-air or something if you can catch your enemy with their pants down without any defenses around those kind of soft targets. And again, in a destruction game, you wouldn't want to send a BTR out into the battlefield because that's 15 points that they get if you lose it. But in a Conquest game, you can kind of send these out to try to take out some key units that are helping someone keep map control. So that's exactly what I use these BTRs for. So that's another small change, and really that's about it. I took off a recon chopper to accommodate for that extra card of ground support, but other than that, this deck is exactly the same. Also, I changed AA to extra card of Igla. They did about the same thing. I just like these better. So anyway, that's this deck. There's also going to be all the proof for the rage list and the updated rage list finally, and there's a lot of additions, so stay tuned for that, or skip to it, I don't care. But this gameplay is pretty nice, and it's Conquest, so it's fresh, and it's a nail biter, so I won't spoil which way it goes, but it's a nice game from both players, and I hope you enjoy. Alright, so we begin. This is a 1v1, of course. I'm going against Mr. Hal 9000. First time ever playing with the man. We are both sergeants, this being my 3rd ranked game in Red Dragon, of course. It is Conquest, which is a little bit different from Destruction, a little bit more centered around zone control, so you'll be seeing a little bit different gameplay strategy from myself. And the reason why I decided to record a narration over this video is because it was very quiet. I was deep in the game play, and it was a very quiet game, so I didn't want anyone to be incredibly bored, so I decided to narrate. I'm asking this guy if he's read for or not, so I kind of know what to expect. Not expecting him to tell me what side he was, or maybe even lie to me to throw me off a little bit. My last ranked game was a Red 4 versus Red 4, oddly enough, so I didn't know what to expect. And he is NATO, so I am thinking that maybe he is Commonwealth, which is a common deck build, and a very scary one because of the F-111C, which has 8,000 kilograms worth of bombs, that being 8 1,000 kilogram bombs. But anyway, enough talking about a plane that doesn't even make an appearance in this game. Right now I'm just performing the ritualistic beginning of all war games, deciding what I need as I glance across the battlefield. This is my first time playing a 1v1 on this map, and 1v1s are pretty tense, at least for myself, so all my moves are very well thought up before I actually do them. You can see me kind of trying to decide what to send out on the battlefield. I have 2 recon choppers, or recon infantry and choppers on the right and left to cover my flanks, and then I have some fast moving MI8s that get out there quick. Hopefully he doesn't have any lynxes, and oops, I messed up right there. Unloaded all my infantry right there that I was going to send to the middle of the map. I'm needing speed to get out there in case he has those fast moving helicopters, and I just totally boned it. But I load them back up as quickly as possible, thinking I just lost Elena because of a stupid mistake. I decide to try to get those BTRs to Elena, but I'm not really sure how this is going to play out just yet. Looks like my MI8s are securely making it to Fedor, which is good to know. I don't have a recon chopper out to see what kind of stuff he's bringing, so I'm starting to get kind of worried. But like a good war game player, I don't let my fear keep me from doing my job. There's his choppers. Looks like they've already landed too. He's got that advantage because I messed up a little bit at the beginning of the game, but my BTRs are there. They're going to get troops on the ground quick. My special force, days are down. Gone beyond flame. Infantry's taking a sweet ass time getting out of his choppers. My Iglas that I parked over there, the Igla truck down there, took care of those helicopters no problem. And looks like he's not going for a presence in Fedor early game. And also, something to note, he took Ivan and those other 2, Sheraton and Gregory up there, which are all 2-point sectors, and I have not captured a single one of my 2-point sectors, so he is gaining points right now, just about to clear the country. There it is, 4. I have 0. So, although I'm not panicking at this point because it's all part of the plan, I
so many rifts.
Purposely decided to not go with 300 points right off the bat because that's a lot of resources you don't have to put into map control. So I am in the clear there. I have the advantage on him. And of course, yes, assault engineers, flame infantry of any kind is always a good bet in the city. It's just regular infantry cannot go to the table. And I realized that. And I moved my regular infantry out of that bomb run, but my flame infantry takes a hit. So I'm starting to worry that maybe those assault engineers are going to push me all the way out of Elena. And so far, nothing on the sides, nothing sneaky yet, so it's like it's going to be a toe-to-toe battle. I'm trying to get these grenades in a position to assault those assault engineers, but unfortunately those buildings were blocking line of sight, preventing me from helping out the infantry on the ground. And that's what I love those MI8s for, or any type of helicopter with rockets on them. It's great support. I do have some grenade launching helicopters, but do not call those out. So right now it's looking like contested Elena, and Fedor is completely mine at the moment. Right now I'm trying to see if I can sneak a BTR over there to snatch up that tracked rapier anti-air over there that I saw, but looks like he sees my BTRs. He saw it now. Those 14.5mm guns on them can do some damage on light targets like that. I thought maybe I could sneak off with a nice kill for it, but unfortunately it was not to be. And that's one thing that I'm not too worried about in a Conquest game, is sacrificing a couple BTRs here and there. Whereas in a destruction game, there are 15 points, 10 points in some variants. So that's kind of some points you don't want to throw away, but if you think you can get a unit that's going to help you out in the long run, why not send it to its death to try to get it on Conquest, because it's going to cost you victory-wise. Right now those assault engineers are giving me problems. You can see the city there in flames as my one lonely gun beyond is still fighting against these assault engineers. I have 100 points left over. I should have some flame infantry. I even have BTRs over there on the right, supporting a little bit. Looks like they're not really doing anything but kind of suppressing them. Maybe saving my infantry's life by suppressing them, but MI8s can get in on the action. And there's another tracked rapier, or excuse me, the tracked rapier that I failed to get earlier. And for some reason I think, hey, this MI8, it's got it, it can take it. I go for the Chinook resupplying it, though, and lose it instantly. And I just say, fuck it, get a SU-25K, which has 8 500kg bombs. I end up kind of abusing that in this game, just because he didn't call a whole lot of anti-air, so I capitalize on it. I'm not gonna lie. Deciding to do that. And it is armored slightly, which is nice to have on the plane, especially and the bombs right on top. It's gone. He's got no AA in this area now, so it's opening me up to a lot of air superiority action. He's got 20 rifleman 90s and assault engineer that just lost there. Flame infantry man. He's working his rifleman over. I'm surprised that man lived. He's a lonely man. With a tank full of napalm on his ass. Riflemen call it quits and hop over the next building area. More assault engineers. He knows what's going to win Elena for him. And I didn't see myself calling that bomb strike, but I guess I saw those assault engineers and decided to act quickly. Fell right on top of them. Looks like they're still alive, unfortunately. Looks like he's sending helicopters to Fedor. My Igla's far back in Dimitri getting one of them, and my Yuck are going to take down the other. So Fedor is still under my control. But he is at 432 points and 500. I stopped his gain captured my 3 sectors, and then I captured element, which put me getting 1 point per second. So I am extremely slowly crawling back towards his amount of points, but won't be there for quite some time. I'm going to need to get Fedora to help secure victory by the end of this game. Looks like it's actually not 1 point per second. Maybe it's every 5 seconds. Looks like it's a little bit quicker than 5 seconds. Maybe 3 seconds. Every 3 seconds you get a point, or you get the amount of points that you have counted towards your overall. I'm not sure how it works, but I am slowly creeping along with one addition to my point count every so often. He is no longer gaining points, so that's good. As long as he does not capture Fedora here. He sends some STRF 9040s, which you don't know are Swedish, heavily armored 4 transports with 40mm guns in them. I thought maybe there might be something crazy like Kustjäger or something. Well, I guess not Kustjäger, since he seems to be using a mixed deck, which Kustjäger are their special forces, Sweden's, I mean. And they are, I believe, prototype, national specific, so. Anyway, I didn't know what it was inside of them, but they went down without a fight, so it's not that big of a problem anyway. Do another bomb run, I guess maybe a few things, and these reinforcements to my MIAs are panicking those Bradleys. That's about all they're doing, unfortunately. My battered infantry holding in there, but I'm still burning bitches. 16 of them over here battling some recon special forces. And wow, not the first bomber, but big ass bomber, F-15D. Looks like those are 2,000 pounders or 2,000 kilogram or 1,000 kilogram bombs, 4 of them, so he completely wiped out all my flame infantry and Fedora. And there's 2 groups of 5 infantry. I'm guessing they're assault engineers, and they are. So I bring out some SU-25Ks to deal with that. Again, he has no AA over there, so I'm going to take full advantage of that. Bombs away. Another thing to note, on Conquest, points do not come up when you kill something, so it's a little bit harder to know if you actually killed something completely. That might actually not be a bad decision to go with destroy. I wouldn't mind playing a game where you weren't completely sure if you took out the unit you were going after or not. Seeing points pop up kind of keeps any suspicion of enemy units still being alive. But on this game type, it's a little bit hard to know if you did take something or not. You can send something soft in an area where you thought maybe you should have gotten everything, whereas you didn't. So those assault engineers could very well still be alive, I don't know. But since I have played Conquest before, I do know that, so I'm cautious, and I see that he's only got 2 of them left. Bomb run was a good bomb run, and I kind of wasted that one there on some dead assault engineers. Gonna try to get some infantry over there to push him out of Fedora completely and take that. Because if I don't get some more points, I'm going to lose. Yonde, out of the buildings, save your lives. Looks like he's trying to get those Blackhawks in a support position, but they don't see anything. And a Lynx is coming out. What kind of infantry is it toting? Watching this over, I'm noticing some oversights that I missed. I mean, that's always a good thing to do, is watch replays of those you play against, even your own. So just as I was dropping, always learn a few things that you could do better, if you care that much anyway. If you want to get better. But what I noticed is I didn't really aggressively push out recon. I mean, I understood that he didn't have that much recon, so I was kind of already ahead in that department, but I could have easily put out some more feelers out there to get some better intel. And that's what this game's about, is knowing what to call out to counter whatever he calls out. I do that well enough.
Much more exciting.
So far, anyway. Still trying to get those pesky, resilient command infantry out of there. He's cutting my points off every couple of seconds. Area run takes out some yuck day that I just called in. City's starting to look like a war zone with all these bomb runs on it. But I'm getting fed up with that command infantry in there, so I'm going to go ahead and move in, try to take all that out. There's a Jaeger proving to be very, very deadly. And he just bombed all 30 of those men there, leaving me with just my special forces to seal the deal here. Looks like he moves those away just in time to save their lives. Still got 2 groups of them, 3 total, versus my 16, not a problem. And his command infantry with 5. Definitely have this sealed up. And I think at this point I actually stepped away for a moment, so although I realized I did need to get back because I don't want to lose because of that. And I went back, of course. Pushing the advantage. Found his command squad. Take care of that. And looks like he called out a area to deal with that. So I am going to move my infantry out of the way of those bombs. And there for a second I thought, hey, maybe he took care of the problem for me. But no. So they were going to have to get their hands dirty. They may have some sleepless nights when they get back home to their North Korean wives. Wake up remembering that they had to slaughter these nearly completely inferior soldiers in combat. But I don't care because I'm the fearless leader. They did their job like I asked them to. Snatched a couple lynxes, and I took fire from the city from some pretty long-range gunfire, maybe some snipers or something. I'm not sure. I don't have any recon over there. Not that recon would be able to see any infantry in buildings anyway, but I might have seen them go into the buildings. Mistake on my part, I guess. And I thought maybe I could take care of that tracked rapier, but I think he saw my infantry moving up, so I moved it back just a hair. And he's sending a bomber. And I move him out of the way. Move him back in instantly.
명령 받겠습니다.
Here I'm starting to think, well, maybe he's trying something sneaky because he's really not sending much towards me. So I'm thinking maybe he's got a backup plan. Somehow he got back behind me somehow, even though I do have recon on the right and left, garden for that. But I could have easily not seen it pop up on the map because I was so into the battle. And looks like he's doing exactly that right now. He's sending something over there to the left. I'm noticing right now how long it took me to actually realize that he's sending me. It's pretty easy to not look at the minimap for 30 seconds, but I do spot it. I got enough points to call out a MiG, and that's exactly what I do. That thing's got Hellfires on it, and it's recon, so he was wanting to definitely find my UAZ to try to buy him some time. I'm still pretty far behind though. 146 points towards 500 rather than his 432. I mean, he was really close to just winning before I secured a tiebreaker and 2 extra points. It's gonna definitely be a nail biter to the end. And since my MiG-23 was out, I decided to go for that Cobra. And I pull it to the left, thinking I could fire, and then pull it to the left to escape any AA that might be over there, such as the gun tank that I had no idea was there because I didn't have any recon out. But I totally missed the shot, though. I probably could have killed it had I not called it off to the left a little bit sooner. But it's not that big of a deal. I just thought maybe I could get an extra unit while it was out. And I do know there's a gun tank there now. Looks like he's bringing a Chinook to resupply. Not sure what he's resupplying. Nothing's been really attacking me except that gun tank. And I did bring up some 152mm, kind of harass him to keep him on his edge.
Alrighty, there's the first tornado of the season.
Oh.
Whee!
And I move it, of course, to make sure it doesn't get counter-artilleried. Never want that. Looks like I did score a couple kills, so that's nice. Starting to see a little bit more units pop up on the map. That tracked rapier still mocking me. And it's about that time for him to start getting desperate, I believe, try to get those zones out of my hands, so I decided to call up some support, some heavier, a little bit heavier fire support. Those ATS 103s are, I think, 100mm guns on them, or 90mm. They're nice fire support. And they only cost 25, so that's always nice as well. Stick them in some trees to make sure they get the first shot, or they're not worth anything. Looks like he's trying to get another UAZ attempt there with that F-15. He may have even killed that, I don't know. Had it made it through, but my Iglis took it down. There you see him a little bit angry about my Iglis.
Alright guys, I'm getting off here. Lots of lightning. Talk to you guys later.
And of course, I have to point out, me being a hardcore Red 4 player, that he's definitely got superior anti-air infantry, but not that I have seen any yet. Maybe he should fight getting some anti-air infantry rather than just 1 or 2 tracked rapiers. Looks like he's massing up a force there, some heavily armored ground forces. They're Challenger 1 Mark 1. And just because it says Mark 1 does not mean it's anywhere near an inferior tank. That thing is a beast, and its older brothers are even worse. That thing's got some serious frontal armor, so I decided to get a MiG, anti-ground MiG, to deal with that, because really that's just about the only way I can deal with that. I don't have any really long-range anti-tank infantry, so. And my MiG does take out the gun tank. I realize those are the threats first, so I take them out first. He's a little shaken. He's already used 2 missiles on 1 gun tank. The third one flies right into that other gun tank. Getting low on fuel. I'm going to see if I can ding in that Challenger 1 before he has to go get some fuel. Trying to put my infantry back to save it. And another missile flies right into the Mark 1, leaving him at 3 health, which still has a lot more health than these ATSs that I'm bringing up. And those transports there, I'm not sure what size guns are on them. They are auto cannons, so they're pretty deadly as well. Looks like they survived 1 bomb run there. 2. Well, I took out 1. My ATS starts firing. Gets one of those transports. You notice my ATS has reduced range because it has to be close just to pierce the armor. So that Challenger is going to have to get within range of my ATSs for me to even dent that thing. Ooh, 1 shot. You got close Challenger, and my 25-point vehicle takes out that 135-point, I believe, give or take a few points. 135-point tank.
What?
It was a nice victory. It paid for itself 5 times over easily.
Yeah, nice, dude.
It's a very nice kill, and I do brag about it a little bit. Salt on the wound.
I feel like that shit is very big,
He's a
though.
man.
Sorry.
And I call it a MiG to take care of his recon chopper there.
Not about what you're talking about.
He probably should have had that a little bit closer since it had Hellfires on it to take care of those ATSs, but he decided not to do that.
Alright. Line up.
It's getting down to the nitty-gritty. Sometimes, I wouldn't say panic, because panic is a little bit extreme for what he may or may not have done, but he probably
Yeah. What?
panicked for half a second to try to get a zone out of my hands so he can win this game, and didn't really think that attack all the way through. He did have 2 gun tanks, but they are really not. I have not had any good kills with any gun AA, really. Feeling pretty confident. Stunned MiG even takes out one of those gun tanks, excuse me. And I just, I didn't even notice what I did up there, but I made an educated guess that he does have command infantry, and I bombed it all the way. So I'm getting +4 now, so I'm closing that gap with a vengeance. Just broke 400, he's at 432, and he gives me the well GG and well played. So that will wrap this game up. Alright, just before the rage list shows, I have decided to not show the proof. This time, there's been just so many people decide that they cannot finish a game because they are not very honorable. So, just because of the mass increase of the rage list, this time and this time only, I will not put the videos up because it's just going to take too long. And there's just so many. Just guesstimating, I'd say there's about 40 editions. It's kind of ridiculous. And I'm not going to add proof this time, so sorry. And if there's anyone out there that just has to see proof on one person, or one person says, hey, I know that guy, he would never do that, well, I still have all the footage. If it is requested of me, I can always post it at a later time. So, but no proof for the new editions.